Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Phlox. Today we're back with the Dungeon Boss Guide series for Season 4, and today I'm going to be going through Ruby Life Pools. If you are enjoying these videos, please do leave a like or a comment down in the comment section and let me know, or subscribe for more content in the future. Thank you. So on the first boss, Melidrussa Chillworn, she only has a couple of mechanics that she's going to do repeatedly over and over until she dies. The first one is this mechanic right here, Hail Bomb. So with the Hail Bombs, she's just going to spawn little puddles, and they're going to get placed where everyone in the group is standing when she finishes casting this. So what you want to do is just stack in close and melee with the rest of the group, and then all of the little puddles are going to get spawned right here, and then your group's just going to move around the room away from the puddles that you drop. Um, Also, so for this fight, as far as damage cooldowns go, you don't really want to save for anything. You kind of just want to send on CD. You can potentially save for ad phases, but it's not worth it because she spawns ads at specific health percentages. So if if you have CDs on pull and you're trying to save for the first ad set, you're going to be holding for like at least a minute or maybe more, which is going to honestly lose you a CD use throughout the fight later. So it's better to just send on CD. The way you save damage for ad phases is you just pull some insanity up. So that way when the ads spawn and she has the shield, you can dump some DPs and do some boss damage that way. But generally just don't hold CDs on this fight. So the next mechanic she's going to do repeatedly is Chill Storm. It's going to leave a circle right here on the floor. That's going to do pulsing AoE. And then when it expires, it's going to do a big explosion and do a lot more damage. So when these things come out, you always want to make sure you're pressing Fade and Flash Heal at least, maybe even Desperate Prayer. I like to save Dispersion for if this gets put on me, because if you are in this like big highlighted circle area here, you're going to take more damage than if you were out of it. So you got to kind of move out of this pretty fast, and as soon as it drops, it starts sucking you in. So what you do when this drops is just disperse and run out. You get a speed boost, and you take pretty much no damage. So it kind of just makes it so that if this goes on you, you're safe no matter what. You can potentially use disperse for like ad phases, but the thing is that during ad phases, you need to be doing damage. So sitting in disperse isn't really helping your group out. Yeah, what you see, we're just going to go on a cycle of hail bombs and chill storms. She phases to ad phase at 75%. Another thing with the chill storm is you can life grip people out. You generally want to prio healers though with grip, especially like less mobile healers, like shaman priests or sometimes resto druids if they don't have wild charge, or maybe like holy paladins. Just because if you grip out the healer, they don't have to try to run away while healing, and it just saves them a couple globals, and it makes it easier for them to top the group off. So we did hit 75% now, and we're going to go into ad phase. For ad phase, the biggest thing you want to do is, like I said, like try to pull up some insanity so you can dump some DPs into the boss shield. For positioning, you want to make sure that the boss is between you and where the ads spawn. So if the ads are spawning right here, I'm going to try to run away like over this way, just because that will make it so the ads have to travel through the boss to get to me. And generally your tank's going to be right on top of the boss, so that's just going to make it easier for him to pick up aggro, so you won't get instantly meleeed. And if you do notice for whatever reason that you do get aggro, just fade. But for this phase anyway, you do want to make sure you're also pressing fade and flash heal. Because while this shield is ticking, while this shield is holding, she'll do ticking AoE. So you want to make sure you have defensives up for that. This ticking does do a lot of damage. And then as far as the ads go, so normally what I like to do, you definitely want to save Shadow Crash for this. But normally what I like to do is like dot a couple of them manually with Vampiric Touch, and then send crash, and then more often than not, that's just going to make sure that all of them are dotted. So you have the maximum amount of funnel, you're hitting all the ads, and you're hitting the boss at the same time. But yeah, so for this phase, you just want to make sure you burn this shield down as soon as possible and kick the boss. You cannot kick the boss until the shield's broken. If you're in like a really coordinated group, sometimes you just don't even kick this. If like your healer has enough juice to just heal through this and get you through the phase, it's sometimes beneficial to not kick this, but that's only really in like really coordinated groups. And then at this point, we're just gonna go rinse and repeat on chill storms and the hail bombs until the next add phase, which is I think like 45%. And then for the next add phase, you just literally do the same thing you did before. Alright, so for the second boss, the biggest thing is mostly just positioning and then killing the adds as soon as possible. This fight is very much just rinse and repeat. It's on a very set cycle. She's going to spawn an add. Shortly after that, she's going to spawn a boulder. And while that boulder is also spawning, the add's going to do a big AoE. And then that'll just kind of rinse and repeat. After that, she's going to do like another boulder, and then the add will do another AoE if it isn't dead. You always want to try to avoid like the second big add AoE if you can, just because it does a lot of damage, and it's going to start making your healer fall behind pretty hard. So these adds are really big prio, and you do want to kill them. So as soon as the add spawn, what you should be looking to do is pretty much just Shadow Crash, so you can dot both the DOS and the add. If the boss is too far away, just like Shadow Crash the add immediately and then kind of refresh on Kokia if you need to. And then so as soon as this add spawns, this boulder is going to come out. You want to make sure you're baiting this away from the add just so that your melee can stay on the add, and especially your tank, because this add does get aggro, so your tank needs to hit it to get aggro on it. And then also, while this boulder's spawning, it's going to do an Inferno, which is a big AoE. So you always want to make sure when this add is spawning, it's going to instantly do an AoE. So you want to make sure you're pressing defensives during that time, like Fade Flash Heal. You can disperse this or use Desperate Prayer for a little bit of extra health. Yeah, it's usually a lot going on at once, but just make sure you do not forget to press defensives. That's very bad. So you'll see, as far as positioning goes with this group, you'll see that we're moving this way. So for next add spawn, in this situation, the next add spawn, we're gonna want to spawn it. We're gonna want to bait like a little bit forwards, like towards where we're going. And then as soon as it spawns, I'm gonna go move towards the poop, like right here. I move this way, so that way when the boulder happens, it'll get baited back towards where we came, towards all this other poop. You do not want to bait the boulder towards the clean area of the room, because it's just going to leave fire behind. So let's see, yep, boulder gets baited back towards where we came. The add does need to get kicked. Generally, your group's going to like set a kick rotation of some sorts. Usually as a priest, you're just going to be a backup kick. So if you see this about to go off, just make sure you are kicking it because it does do a lot of AoE damage to everyone. And then while this dot is ticking, it's just probably going to kill someone. As far as add damage goes, just make sure you're swapping to it. You can pool a little bit of Insanity to dump some DPs in it when it spawns. But it is definitely prio when it comes out, so make sure you are single targeting the add when it comes out. But yeah, that's pretty much the fight on a rinse and repeat basis. The big thing on this fight is positioning, making sure you're baiting properly so that you save as much of the room as possible. So for the last boss, there's two bosses with two different sets of mechanics. The big dragon here is going to do a frontal cone, which spits out fire, and then she's also going to do a fire spit on a random person in phase 1. In phase 2, she does the fire spit on multiple people. And then the other boss is mostly like a tank boss, but he is going to do like a periodic AoE that you need to stop casting for. There's also two phases to this fight. So in the first phase, only this one's going to come down, and then the dragon's just going to start flying around everywhere. The dragon is the kill target because it does the most damage to the group. In this first phase, you want to make sure you are prioing the dragon instead of the other boss. What this is going to do is once one of them goes down to 50%, phase 2 starts, which is the more dangerous phase. So when the second phase starts, it'll be a lot easier to burn the dragon down faster. The ability that this boss casts that you want to look out for is the Interrupting Cloud. It's this interrupting cloudburst. So when this is going off, just make sure you use like a defensive because it does do some damage. So like Fade or Flash Shield. You don't really need a big defensive for that. Just like a baby defensive. And then also when it's done casting, make sure you are not casting anything because it will silence you for a short period of time and you won't be able to do any damage. But that's really all you need to worry about for this boss. The other boss is a lot more dangerous to you. So you'll see while it's flying, I'm still going to try to target it while it's in range and just do damage to it. And then if it goes out of range, I'll go back to this guy. But when it comes back into range, I'm going to be going into this guy, making sure I'm prioing this. If you do get the fire spit on you, you want to make sure you like place it more towards like the edge of the room or where your group is. Periodically, he's going to do these winds that'll like start pushing the fire on the floor. These winds do go in a specific pattern. The wind pattern is going to be the same all the time once you start the fight. So once you start the fight, the wind's pretty much just going to go this way towards the very edge of this platform. And then next it's going to go to the left. This is if you're facing like the edge of the platform, it's going to go to the left. Then it's going to come down towards where you came from on the bridge, and then to the right. And that pattern is going to consistently repeat throughout the fight. So if you ever do get the fire pools, you want to place them on a spot uh, where it'll push the fire pools like away from the group. And if for whatever reason you cannot get to like the perfect spot, just try to put it like towards the edge of the room somewhere, and not just right in the middle where your whole group is. If anyone touches any of this fire, they're going to get the puddles on them, and then you're going to start spreading more puddles. So you want to make sure you are not taking this puddle at all for any reason. Same thing with the fire breath, the frontal. If you take any tick of any of the fire damage, you're going to get one of the puddles, and it'll just cause more poop to fall. So you want to keep the room as clean as possible. Yeah, phase one is just pretty chill. We do the front. It's just a repeat of the frontal. Flies up. We get the big AoE, and then she'll spit on someone when she flies up. Alright, so here you're going to see the dragon goes down to 50%, so phase 2 is going to start. So in phase 2, basically what's going to happen is the boss is going to fly up and do a flame spit again, but this time it's going to hit more people. Hits 2 people, and then it'll do a frontal, and then the other guy is just going to keep continuously rotating between the cloudburst and the winds that move you. Honestly, in this phase, just make sure if you get this ability, you're using defensives. And just prio down the dragon. Make sure you have both the bosses dotted. And that's honestly really it. When you get the poop, go to the edge of the rooms. And just rinse and repeat until the dragon dies. And then after that, I mean, it's pretty chill. It's just this guy, and all he does is the little AoE thing. And you just kill it down, and that's pretty much that boss. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch y'all in the next Dungeon Boss Guide video. If you did like the video, please leave a like or a comment, let me know, or subscribe. Thanks so much.